Hello, everyone. How are we? Hopefully, all of you having a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. I nearly forgot what day we're on, to be honest with you. But how are we, chat? Hopefully, all of you are good. Hopefully, all of you are well. And welcome back to yet another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. And of course, we do have a jam-packed show for you guys. Yes, of course, we are going to be talking about Jeremie Frimpong. Why wouldn't we be? Look, he's going to be signing for Liverpool Football Club. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, but look, we're going to be talking about Jeremie Frimpong, of course. But we've not only got news on Jeremie Frimpong, there's plenty more to talk about in today's episode. Of course, we're going to talk about Christopher Nkunku as well, being linked in the last hour to Liverpool, which of course we will talk about and discuss in due course. Adam Wharton as well, of course, also being linked to a potential Liverpool move. And of course, we're going to discuss Florian Wirtz, who once again, look, I think we're going to talk about all the updates concerning, of course, Florian Wirtz and anything, of course, else in the chat as well. Of course, we'll also discuss a few other things, of course, mainly talk about as well the Premier League player of the season. Of course, no Alexis McAllister in it, which, yeah, we'll talk about a bit later on. Anyway, but again, let me know all of you are in the comment section down below. But of course, obviously, the title does say Jeremie Frimpong done deal, which again, it looks like it is going to be a done deal now, of course, as well. And again, we'll talk all about the information that we know about, at least anyway, in tonight's episode, of course. But Frimpong, here we go. It's not here we go just yet, but I think by tomorrow, we will definitely hear about it anyway. But again, we'll have a look anyway. But pop in an invite, lad. I'll just on for a little bit if you want. No worries. If not, I would if my earphones was near me. They're not. They're behind the green screen, which I can't. So unless we want to hear echo after echo. Again, Mac, I will get you on though sometime this week. Anyway, of course, because look, we don't play till Monday, so we've got what today, tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's going to be preview show, you would think, anyway. But again, we will, of course, be doing plenty of videos anyway. But my left back is in the building. Big up Rods as well, saying Frimpong clause triggered. Yes, we will talk about that a bit later on. No, thank you to Nkunku Con as well. I think probably 5 years ago there might have been a strong chance. But who knows? And of course, hello as well, Mikel Arteta. Hello, Luke. Hello. God's sake. See, hey, you don't tell me the lads are still partying in Dubai. They don't come back until tomorrow night. I think they come back. I don't think it's. I think it's tomorrow night. They come back from Dubai, of course. So it's literally Saturday training, Sunday, then we play on Monday. Sounds it's not much. It's not much difference to that, is it? Of course, I wonder what holiday they're going to go to next week, because obviously Slot's been in Ibiza. Obviously, the Liverpool lads have been in Dubai, so it's kind of like, what on earth's going to happen? Anyway, I'd stop it with the Welsh chat as well. Like, we're not having this again, like last night. Anyway, but look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments anyway. But we are going to kickstart the show talking about Christopher Nkunku, of course, being linked to Liverpool, as you guys can see on screen right now. As it does go on to say from Santi. Of course, obviously, Santi's got a few things correct over the last couple of months and years, of course. And he has turned around and said that Christopher Nkunku will leave Chelsea this summer. Plan clear, as several top clubs, including Liverpool, have already made contact. Understand Newcastle as well as Bayern Munich are among the clubs informed on the conditions of their deal to sign the French player. And like I said, look, 5 years ago, absolutely Liverpool would have taken Christopher Nkunku. Look, at the time, obviously at RB Leipzig having a very very good season. Back 5 years ago. Look, there's no way on earth that Liverpool are signing Christopher Nkunku nowadays. Not only, number one, is the is the injury record, but also as well, he's not been good enough for Chelsea when he's been playing for them. Again, look, with Mo Salah, when he was at Chelsea, it was quite clear that they didn't use him correctly. With Christopher Nkunku, again, I just don't think the Premier League is for him and his style. Again, I would be surprised if he didn't go back to the Bundesliga, in my opinion. Obviously, it says via that Santi that, again, Newcastle as a backup striker, it would be decent-ish, you'd probably assume. Obviously Chelsea would look probably at around, 30 million for him, possibly. But again, 20, 30 million, I think he's around that area. I don't think he's worth any, much more than that, personally. But still, would I take him at Liverpool now? No, I wouldn't do. Of course, obviously, the data lads loved him, back, like I said, 5 years ago. But now, yeah, there's no chance that Liverpool even entertain, the possibility of signing Christopher Nkunku. But I wonder where he will end up. This is his Newcastle as well as Bayern Munich. I think as a backup for Harry Kane, potentially. Again, Nkunku's not a bad option. Like we said, obviously he's had very good seasons in the Bundesliga in the past. But for me, for Liverpool, it would just be a no-go, really, when it does come to Christopher Nkunku. Because, again, like injury record is a, number one. And B, I just don't think he's good enough in the Premier League. Whenever I've watched Chelsea, anyway, he's not been good enough. It's kind of the Joao Felix conundrum with them. They're not quite good enough to be the 9. They're not good enough to be the 10, and they're too slow to be wingers. So kind of where are they? Really, I think Nkunku would be very good in a 2 system. With playing that second striker role. But yeah, I think in terms of the Premier League teams, I just can't see him going anywhere, really. But again, could be wrong, 100%. Anyway, but leaving due for Darwin Núñez, they for God's sake, leaving due for Darwin Núñez, they missed the flight, so they're traveling down Swindon. Jesus Christ, it could be worse. It could very much be worse than that. Anyway, Jesus Christ, imagine that. Might as well say Messi at this point. Hey, look, I'd absolutely love Messi at Liverpool, but no, absolutely not. This isn't happening, by the way. And I saw this yesterday. This isn't happening. I can't wait tomorrow to get my hair cut. But no, do you know what? For a laugh, type up Russell from Up. That's me. 100% there is. Anyway, and I don't want that to become a meme, by the way, either. So bugger off. This guy is injury prone as Naby Keita. Yes, he is. He is very injury prone. To be fair though, like, again, is that down to the league, or is that down to, again, how Chelsea work, really? Because it seems like every big player at Chelsea somehow gets injured. At a point, I look at it and go, like Reece James. The last 18 months, that's all you hear is like Reece James is back, then Reece James has a new injury, this, that, and the other, and you kind of look at it and I'm like, no, it doesn't need to be that. Anyway, but McIntyre is trapped. Conor Romano, yeah, again, those here he goes soon anyway. But again, yeah, well, to be fair, with Dean Huijsen, there seems to be a problem with personal terms. With Dean Huijsen at the moment, which, again, I think that one will be potentially interesting because with with Dean Huijsen, supposedly, according to Alex Crook, if he can't agree a personal terms tomorrow, he'll start looking at Premier League clubs again, which, again, I don't want him now, really. I personally don't want him. Again, I only want players that want to play for Liverpool and choose Liverpool first. Now you look at it, of course, he would have rejected Real Madrid's personal terms, but I kind of look at it as well and go, I personally wouldn't want him now, really. And again, Liverpool could 100% go after other people, like Hato, for example, is another option. I still think Mark Gay is also an option for Liverpool, where, again, when we're talking about third or fourth choice potentially is another player. Of course, Nico Schlotterbeck as well. Like I've said to you guys, I'd very much love Liverpool to go after Nico Schlotterbeck. I think for Dortmund, he's been very good this season. And I think, look, when, given an opportunity to go on and of course, sign for a team that would be more dominant, I would think, in terms of Liverpool. I think Schlotterbeck would thrive. Of course, the dream less-sided centre-half would be Bastoni, but of course, you're never going to get Bastoni out of Inter anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts. What on earth are you lot doing in the chat, by the way? Because Jesus Christ, let's go through these. Why not? So we got Jack Ornstein, Jack Morito, Connor Joyce, Connor Ornstein, Max then gone. Michael Edwards is finally getting his Nkunku, potentially. Oh Jesus Christ! To be fair, Indy Keller is kind of a goat right now, as well. But Jack Joyce, Jack Antarisa, Connor Folk, Jack Edwards, Jesus Christ. Would you take Ryan Shirky from Leon? Yes, I would. 100% I would. I think the only problem is his attitude with him. And it's kind of like that dickhead test. Liverpool don't really sign players like that. But I think just purely down on talent, of course, he is a really good number 10. And of course, when we talk about Liverpool being more creative, of course, Ryan Shirky would add that. This season he's got 14 goals and 27 assists or something like that. To be fair, I will double check that number now. But I'm pretty sure it's something ridiculous this season. Hang on a minute. Career, not so Boston as I had it, but again, 43 games played, 12 goals, 19 assists this season, which again is very good anyway. But Connor, we have been here with KDB, and Salah at Chelsea wouldn't know a good player if it hit them. He would cook in the slot. No. There are players out there that again have been written off. Like I say to you guys, like somebody obviously like an Ekatike, that's currently at Frankfurt. Again, a lot of people writ him off because once again, you've seen him now at Frankfurt be really, really good, and obviously now they're asking 100 million plus. Christopher Nkunku isn't. He's not going to progress anymore. He's done now. How old is Nkunku anyway? Was he 27, 28? I'll check that now. But it's, he's not going to improve now as well. I'm not reading your comment out, Cal. No. So, clip that as well, says Mark. But no, I wouldn't take him personally. But how old is he? 27, turns 28 in November. Yeah, I wouldn't sign Christopher Nkunku at all anyway. But somebody that I would like Liverpool to sign is Adam Wharton. For me, would love him at Liverpool. I think, as a rotation option, you could rotate him for Maka. You could rotate him for Gravenberch as well, which would be very interesting if he was to do it. Anyway, but obviously this is taken from Anfield Sector. Of course, you guys can see on screen right now, as it says below, Liverpool are monitoring the situation of Adam Wharton. Of course, in the article piece, it does go on to say, because I have the article piece in a clip up by here, it does go on to say that he is available for £60 million, which that bit I don't believe really, because I think Palace would demand more. I really do. I think Palace would, at a push, 80 right now, because again, they could get European football in, and that's the thing where I think people to forget really, especially with Palace, obviously winning, if they were to win the FA Cup, they get European football. They get the Europa League. So they would want to keep hold of Adam Wharton as much as possible. Really, of course, maybe if they have to, obviously they lose the FA Cup final, maybe they might look to sell Adam Wharton on, try and invest that money back into the squad. But if they were to get Europa League football, of course they'd want to keep him, and they most likely would end up keeping him for next season. And of course, it's going to take a monster bid for anyone, really. I think it's very interesting to see, of course, with him. Of course, I've said it before. I think Palace could easily demand 100 million for him if he stays at Crystal Palace for an extra couple of years. Obviously, might end up signing a new contract by staying. If he ends up staying there and develops even more, again, Palace could easily demand 100 million. Again, West Ham did it with Declan Rice. West Ham kept him for 1 or 2 extra years. Again, obviously, they got off they got obviously European trophy in terms of the Conference League, and then they ended up selling him for over £100 million, and that's quite easily what Palace could do. With the way the market is, the way that teams are now just demanding 100 million off everyone. Really, I do think Palace could get 100 million for Adam Wharton, but I think for this summer coming up, I think if somebody did bid 80 million for him. Again, even though that report suggested that £60 million would be enough for him, I do think I think Palace would push it up a little bit more. Considering if they were to get Europa League as well, again they would want as much as possible for him. And again, 80 million would be a push to some teams. Again, who's going to spend that type of money on him? Again, there's only a handful of teams, really, isn't it? Considering. I don't think it's only Premier League teams that would go for him. I do think, foreign teams would also go for him. Of course, there's been talks of that horrible club from Spain also liking him as well. So, I do think it's a very interesting one, I would say for sure, on who does end up getting him maybe in the future. But again, I think if Palace were to win the FA Cup, I don't think he goes anywhere next season. I think they would end up keeping him for the Europa League, of course, which again, people are forgetting. If Palace win the FA Cup, they get European football next season, which would be mental. Could you imagine European nights at Selhurst Park? Like, Jesus, that would be amazing to watch. But Nkunku is not a striker, so highly doubt we will sign him. I'm not sure we would take him as a 10, injury prone too. Yeah, absolutely would agree. Red Rebellion, I think, again, I don't think it's even a possibility that Liverpool end up signing him, to be fair. I'd sign Araujo from Benfica. I've seen a few people linking us with him over the last week. I've watched a few things and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I have to watch more like 90s of him, really. Of course, I've watched extended clips of him. He looks decent, but I don't know. I'd have to watch a bit more on him and look into him a bit more with the data and so on as well. But the question is, would Wharton be satisfied with being a rotation player and not a starter con? I think not at first, but I think the problem is with that, though, is he, like, again, the way Liverpool are going to be next season, or the way we think they're going to be next season, you're going to have to potentially have the 6 drop a little bit, and kind of be that deep, line playmaker where you look at Vitinha, if Liverpool could sign any 6 in the world, I think Liverpool would go all in for Vitinha in the summer. If you could go, right, you can spend 100+ million on one player and they automatically say yes to you, who's the player you'd end up signing? 100% Liverpool would go after Vitinha, because that's the type of 6 slot wants. Somebody who can tackle, somebody who, again, is great in possession. Out of possession as well is also great. That is somebody who I think they would absolutely adore at the football club. And again, who can you kind of get, really, that's kind of like that? I think Adam Wharton is potentially somebody who, again, could be someone like that. But again, I think, how old is Adam Wharton? 20, somewhere around there. Again, I think it's very interesting, isn't it? Where, again, a couple of more years of development, and I think Adam Wharton should be in the England squad, really, in midfield. I do believe that. I think he should be, the 6 or playing alongside the 6, really. I think if you have him and Declan Rice in a double pivot, I think that would be perfect for England going forward as well. I do think Adam Wharton is definitely someone special. Again, and look, whichever team sign him will be great. But is he a free next season or this slot? I think Slotterbeck is on a free next year, as long as he doesn't sign a contract. I hope Trent gets applause. Won the last game. Again, I hope he doesn't. Yeah, I hope the boos don't, because I hope the boos stop now. Look, we've made our voice heard really, and I think Trent understands that now. It's like, again, support the team. Really, at all costs. But Roe Billion says, and the Wirtz news is being reported by just about everyone now. If he decides he wants to leave Germany, then I reckon he will sign for us. Frimpong seems to be close to. Frimpong's pretty much done. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But Frimpong's pretty much done. It's just now getting. Again, as soon as Liverpool trigger properly trigger the clause, then again, personal terms is no problem. It's pretty much done. And yeah, it's just the formalities really. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a here we go tomorrow, really, or if we got confirmation tomorrow that the deal was done, because supposedly Frimpong wants to get the move confirmed before their last game as well. But my wild card is Elliot Anderson. He's been good this season, but yeah, no, I wouldn't sign Elliot Anderson, to be honest. But Wharton is 21. Oh, there we go, as well. But yeah, Wharton 21. I think we should boo Connor when he leaves us. Hey, look, you can do whatever you want. I want Yarabara. Anyway, but I like it, all jokes aside. I think Con signed a lifetime contract with the Reds. I again would absolutely love it. Really, again, if somehow I got employed by Liverpool Football Club to be anything, boss, be absolutely sound. Hi Con, thoughts on Brian Mbeumo from Brentford? Would he suit us? Do you think? Yeah, like again, can play everywhere at the top, can't he? Really, obviously, I know people straight away link into obviously Mo Salah, and is he a Mo Salah replacement? Really, I kind of look at it and go, like we could see it. I think you absolutely could see it. But yeah, no, I do think he may end up leaving Brentford in the summer. I think possibly Arsenal. It's just something that I know it's kind of weird, because obviously he plays on the right, and they're not going to have really a backup to Saka, to be fair. But I kind of look at it, and you have to manage Bukayo Saka. You have to manage his minutes. And of course, he can also play on the left, which is a huge factor, because Arsenal need somebody to play on the left-hand side. But yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if Brian Mbeumo did join Arsenal in the summer, really. But Ozan, I'd hope so. Isn't he left back in the change room as well? Would you accept a parade bus driver position at the? No, I'd be on top as well. Someone else can drive Ozan. Anyway, but look, that's just my opinion. Anyway, but look, we will move on. And we'll talk then about Florian Wirtz, of course, and the updates of today. I do have everything down right here for you guys. Again, I'm not going to show you guys because I've got it on a Word document right now anyway. But according to Sport Build, as again, they've been reporting things all day long. When it does come to Florian Wirtz, it does go on to say that Wirtz is ready for the next step from Leverkusen. Leverkusen are prepared for it. The transfer fee would be around 150 million euros, which again is linking it to yesterday. Of course, obviously there was different reports on it though, suggesting that for Bayern Munich, of course, it's 150 million, and for English teams, it's around 100 million. Again, nobody's really confirmed or denied that. I think for everyone, I think it's 150 million, because look, Leverkusen don't want to let him go, really. But again, if somebody does bid 150 million, again, they're not going to turn that down, really, are they? And I think, look, they're absolutely in their right mind to demand that type of money. Unless you want to give it a nice little discount to Liverpool anyway. 2-for-1 maybe. Anyway, but no, it does go on to also say it's now about Wirtz and his team committing to where he wants to move. He's outgrown Leverkusen. The fact that he feels this himself was evident in his performance after last season's tough Champions League defeat. The 4-0 loss to Liverpool was one of those as well. Of course, that's obviously from Sport Bild. They do also go on to say that Florian Wirtz wants to leave Bayer Leverkusen. He'd be playing his farewell match in Mainz. Wirtz and his parents are pushing for a move. Buying a confident City have expressed strong interest, and now Liverpool have suddenly entered the race for Florian Wirtz. Of course, it is just adding more from yesterday, and of course everything that we did find out anyway. But I think more on Wirtz as well is, of course, we had Paul Joyce's article piece up earlier, of course, on the Frimpong news. Of course, he did also add into that, saying that Florian Wirtz was definitely in Liverpool's thoughts, and Liverpool could, if he said yes to a Premier League move, would definitely be in the race for him. And I think everyone else has kind of also had that same approach of, if he doesn't decide to join, to Bayern Munich, of course, Liverpool will definitely put a strong pitch towards Florian Wirtz as well. Looking at it now, Paul Joyce said that like I said, there is an interest in his Leverkusen teammate, of course, speaking in the article piece, from Florian Wirtz, whom Liverpool have tracked for a number of years. And should he show an indication to a move to the Premier League this summer, then the champions will make a strong pitch to sign him as well. So again, I think on Florian Wirtz, of course, I do think we will know very quickly that what will be happening with him. I don't think it's going to be the case of and kind of guessing, what's going to happen. Really, again, Sport 1 reporting that Bayern's long belief they were in pole position, but then come Wirtz's flight to England included appointments in Manchester and Liverpool. Again, I think because there's been reports that his dad has also fallen out, or has kind of been taken back by Bayern Munich, and taken how, of course, him in particular has been betrayed by Bayern Munich, because, of course, obviously all the news that's come out and rumors and that suggesting that, once again, there's been kind of a pre-agreement really that he was going to go and join Bayern Munich, but at the moment there's no agreement at the present moment in time as we're recording, and as things stand, it looks like once again that he is open to anything, and I do think whether or not it will be interesting really, because of course with Florian Wirtz, I think if you go back and watch and even read as well, I think his article piece a couple of months ago, I think it was in Sport Bild, where he was speaking about coming out of his comfort zone and potentially playing outside of Germany and kind of going into other European leagues, speaking about how he would thrive maybe in a different environment, and so on as well. And again, what environment is the best out there than the current Premier League champions, really? And then again, a team that have superstars in their own right. Again, Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker, again, Alexis McAllister. These are the players that I think everybody considers world class in the Liverpool team. And again, the signing of Florian Wirtz makes Liverpool instantly better. It doesn't matter where he plays. A false 9, a 10. It doesn't matter where he plays. He will instantly make the team better. And like I said earlier on to you guys when we were talking in the Frimpong news, for me, I think Liverpool will play, if we was to sign him, in a double 10. I think potentially Liverpool have kind of given up on the 9 position because, I've been told by a couple of people that Sesko might be somebody that
now might become an option for Liverpool. Of course, Arsenal look like they're going to go and sign Gyökeres. Liverpool's other nine positions, or targets really. Alexander Isak isn't going to go anywhere. Julian Alvarez isn't going to go anywhere at the moment. And again, you're left in that bracket of, prospects really. Again, you've got Ekatike, you've got Sesko. Again, you've got other strikers out there that potentially would also happen. For me, I think I could easily see Wirtz happening, but then I also can't see it happening at the same time, because as of things right now, I still think he goes to Bayern Munich. I really do. Even though, all the news coming out of Bayer Leverkusen is they don't want to sell to Bayern Munich, it could very well be another Kai Havertz situation where they sold to Chelsea instead of Bayern Munich. Of course, they don't want to upgrade a direct rival, of course. But again, the big positives for Liverpool is doesn't look like Bayern Munich can buy him without selling anyone. So who can Bayern Munich sell to generate funds? The number one guy straight away that comes to my mind is Paulinho, who can end up going. And then apart from that, I'm talking about, significant sales, by the way. I just don't see anyone else leaving Bayern Munich, really, because again, they're going to sign Jonathan Tah. If we're talking about player sales, I know they've just let go of Eric Dyer as well, but they're not going to sell Nkunku. They're not going to sell Kimmich now. They've just offered him a new contract. They're not going to sell, obviously, they've just got rid of Thomas Muller as well, but they're not going to sell Elise. They're not going to sell Sane. Gnabry potentially as well could end up going from Bayern. But again, like nothing really in terms of sales, a big sale. The big sale is probably Paulinho, who they could try and get 40 million for him, potentially. Depending on the DM market. Again, there's plenty of teams I think would spend that type of money on him. Because I think a couple of weeks ago there was rumors of Fulham once again looking at him, bringing him back to Fulham anyway. So I think it will be interesting to see anyway. But as of right now, I still think he will go to Bayern Munich. But again, I would love to be wrong. I'd absolutely adore if Liverpool go and get him. Because again, like I said to you guys earlier, that would show true intentment for the season ahead. Of course, anyway. But Red Rebellion says the news of Wirtz going to City has also tumbled. And as reports suggest, we have been tracking him for years, so fingers crossed. Yeah, the one thing for the benefit to Liverpool as well is it's family based as well. Like if you get what I mean, like again, his agents is his mum and dad's, or more importantly, his dad. And I also think when the reports from Bild, for example, turn around and go, oh well, whether or not he does consider a move to does consider a move potentially to the Premier League, of course he would. Look, there's no other reason why he would fly to the UK, visit Manchester City, and visit Liverpool. Like, there's no other reason why he'd do that unless he's interested. Because I think Florian Wirtz will look at it and go, of course, he could play in that front four. Like I said in yesterday's video when the news broke, that front four of Kane, Elise, Musiala, and Wirtz would easily be the best. Would be the best front four going in Europe. Easily, it would be as well. But I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if we didn't get a number. If we did, it would be over the moon with it anyway. But Wirtz won't happen, says Martin as well. I'm annoyed we're even pretending to be interested as well. I was yesterday, but then the longer it's gone on, I kind of get why we are interested in him, or the links are there. Because I think probably as yourself, I hate, oh my God, what a goal. What a goal by Lamine Yamal. Apologies, chat. I'm watching the Barcelona game at the same time. What an unbelievable goal from Lamine Yamal. But yeah, it's 100%. Like I do see your point, and like I said, I was yesterday. It was exactly the same. But I just think with the family element of it, I think obviously Liverpool. I think Liverpool will spend big, by the way, this summer on someone. I don't think, obviously, with Frimpong now £30 million, we could end up buying. We could end up spending 30-40 million on Kirkez. I kind of look at it and go, we could end up seeing it. But I kind of look at it, and I know people instantly go, we've had this before, Saicedo, this, that, and the other. I think this summer is different a little bit. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens, really. But Cal says, Chiesa off, which is fair. Sad, he was absolutely, he absolutely was. 100%. Big up Lee as well, saying, no, just Paulinho, Coman, and Tel. I forgot about Tel, to be fair, because I already considered him a Tottenham player, to be fair. But, you are right. Again, but are they the only players they can sell on? Like Coman, I think, leaves on a free, doesn't he? Or does he still have 1 year left on his contract? Because I know they were talking about like a contract renewal. And then I think the Saudis as well was also talking about it. No, there's no way he's just got another one. No, he hasn't. But describe the goal. How was it like? Finesse, top corner, unbelievable. There you go. But false hope again. I imagine it will be a smoke screen for someone else. Yeah, I think I kind of get what you mean. Hopefully it's a smoke screen for Alexander Isak. But no, that's definitely another one as well. But no, like I think Liverpool, of course, we are definitely going to sign a creative 10. That's a given. But whether or not that's Wirtz or Shirky or anybody else, again, it will be interesting to see anyway. I do think we are more likely to sign Ryan Shirky than we are Florian Wirtz, which is a shame, really. But look, if there's still, a 2% chance Liverpool can sign him, then again, I'd be hoping until the day he doesn't sign anyway. But Christian Falk has confirmed we met Wirtz too as well. Yeah, everybody's pretty much confirmed it. Plintenberg, Romano, I think Joyce as well. Paul Joyce also mentioned it as well. But yeah, there's plenty of people as well. Kim and Jay as well, and Bowie. Bowie, I don't think they can get much money for him. I don't think he's that good. Like, how much did they buy him for? Was it 20 million euros? I don't think they'll be getting that back, really. I think they bought him as an opportunity signing, and yeah, it just didn't work out. But yeah, Kim and Jay is another one. Okay, to think, what was it, 3 seasons ago, where you had a really, really good season for Napoli. But yeah, like it hasn't worked out with him at Bayern Munich. But then, to be fair, look at Upamecano. Upamecano has completely changed it around at Bayern Munich. Really, and now they do massively miss, when he's not there. To be fair as well. But I would love Isak, but Newcastle stop that. Julian Alvarez would be my pick, but neither will happen. Yeah, no, there's no chance either happen, really. I will say it though, of course, Alvarez does have that 150 million euro release clause, but again, that's a straight up release clause, which again, Liverpool are not going to go out and pay, because of course Atletico Madrid would want that all up front, because there was definitely talks as well that the Florian Wirtz news, that Liverpool could pay in about 3 or 4 installments for the 150 million, which again, I don't know if that's true for all the teams or if it's just, certain thing as well. But look, it's very interesting anyway, because again, even seeing some people now obviously linking us with Shirky. Again, I think we will end up signing a creative 10. But again, a question for the chat, obviously from Lee's comment. Who, obviously Liverpool need a 9. Who would you like as the 9? Because like we mentioned, obviously you've got Victor Gyökeres, you've got Benjamin Sesko, you've got Hugo Ekitike, Victor Osimhen, they're the names that scream out straight away. I know you've got a couple as well in the Serie A. Obviously, a couple of lads from Atalanta as well have also been linked in the past. What are we saying, in terms of preference then? Who would we want? Because out of them all, I've said it before, if the price is right, I'd love us to go after Ekitike. But I know people, including myself in that, I just don't want a journey striker, somebody who, again, could be amazing in 2 or 3 years' time. They want someone that's going to, score goals now, and that is more pointing in the direction of Victor Gyökeres. But again, it looks like Arsenal have made progress in that, and it looks like they're going to end up signing him, unless, of course, something massively changes elsewhere. Really, anyway. But Polo says, which striker could FSG realistically get? Again, it's a great question. Lisa says, I imagine the window will look like Gyökeres, Frimpong, an attacking midfielder, maybe a homegrown, with talk of Kelleher, Konza, and Elliott all being linked with a move away. Gibbs, White, Rogers, potentially. I think Gibbs White is an excellent shout. If City do end up getting Wirtz over us, then I could easily see us going after Gibbs White. Easily could see it. But I don't know. Obviously, with Trent leaving, obviously we got Frimpong. Jeremie Frimpong is homegrown already, so that obviously is like for like in that sense. But as you said, but then Kelleher leaving, Konza leaving, Elliott leaving as well. Obviously Mamadashvili coming in as well. So that's obviously another foreign place out the squad gone. So it would be interesting. Yeah, I would agree with you. Really, I wonder whether or not, again, centre half, we look at, like I said, Mark Gay. It's again homegrown players. Obviously, if we got Dean Huijsen in, he wouldn't have counted for anything at the minute because of his age. But then, of course, he would have taken over a foreign place in the squad as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't sign, maybe a homegrown player this summer. Again, Gibbs White's a great shout. Morgan Rogers is a great shout. Mark Gay as well. I still think that's definitely a player that I think Liverpool could go for 100% too, because Liverpool looked at him last season or last summer for the Euros, and we didn't really do anything about it. Now, supposedly Spurs and Newcastle also want Mark Gay, and Palace are looking around 30-40 million for him. Again, could be interesting for sure. But also Atletico fan also as well. Alvarez was poor today, and there was no news on the Atletico end of Alvarez leaving. He got hooked, didn't he? Because it was such a bad performance. I don't think we will signing 9 with Sesko and Ekitike as well. Possibly, and this is why I think the Wirtz news is more believable, because I could see Florian Wirtz playing in the 9 and kind of doing that double 10 with Szoboszlai, and then next season we might go after the 9 that we want, i.e. Alexander Isak. Really, but again, that's just a hope, isn't it, at the moment? But Paulo says Osimhen and Gyökeres would be a good transfer. Be an interesting one, wouldn't it? For sure. We will go for a false 9, as Slot called it. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Darwin Núñez, no, just like Darwin Núñez will be gone. Bang on, homegrown quota, get the league, no selling period. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, as well from Cal. And Polo says, why did City sell Alvarez? He's just another Núñez overrated. I disagree with that massively. They sold him because, again, he's profit. Let's be honest. They spent, what was it, 14 million on him at the time. But I genuinely, I think Alvarez is really special. I do. And again, for somebody that pretty much over the last 3-4 years has won everything in football. He's out a bit of my tongue. Excuse me. Of course, he won a World Cup. He's won a Premier League. He's won a Champions League, Club World Cup, FA Cup, League Cup. He's won everything, really. And again, he wanted to be the number 1 guy. somewhere. And of course, that was Atletico Madrid. Now, Liverpool wanted him last summer as well. Like, remember that. Liverpool were in talks with Manchester City to sign Julian Alvarez, but Manchester City wanted Luis Diaz a part of the contract, and Liverpool did not want to lose Luis Diaz. And this is why the whole deal didn't go anywhere. That was confirmed by David Ornstein. That, again, Liverpool were pretty much had everything going in the right direction for Julian Alvarez, and then of course they wanted Luis Diaz on top of it. So yeah, it doesn't look like it didn't look like it was going to happen. Obviously, it was going to be difficult anyway to ply him away from Atletico Madrid from 1 year on, really. But look, I even though Alvarez is a phenomenal player, again, it's never going to happen, was it really? But I know he's the Ev, but money talks. Jared Brunthwaite has a higher ceiling than Gahey. Yeah, I would agree. Obviously I've got a good friend called Rye, who is an Evertonian. He's a good Evertonian as well. But no, like, we've wound him up for months saying that Liverpool are going to come in and buy Brunthwaite off of him. And look, I do think it's a possibility, but the big problem with that is that Liverpool, the asking price is straight away £100 million. And look, Liverpool are absolutely never ever going to be buying £100 million player from Everton. Let's be honest. So yeah, that's straight away a no. But give me Osimhen, Isak, Gyökeres over Alvarez. Switch that. Give me Alvarez, Isak, Gyökeres, and not Osimhen. I personally don't rate Osimhen. Again, can do it in the Italian league, can do it in the Turkish league, but again, I think if he was to come to the Premier League, I just think he would be a Lukaku. What Lukaku was at Chelsea back a couple of seasons ago, that's what would happen again. And yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen, really, to be fair. But ask for absurd money, yeah, absolutely. Ozan, yeah, VF would never sell to us. Is Ricky an Evertonian? No, unfortunately for him, he's not. I can't wind him up about that, but no, he's not an Evertonian. A certain someone else is an Evertonian. We know that for a fact. I'm not naming any names, by the way. But Lee says Alvarez doesn't have to score goals to have a good game. He comes from the same cloth as Luis Suarez, Rooney, Tevez, dying breed workhorse as well. Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, when we talk about somebody that can score goals, and somebody that can create goals and link up play, Alvarez is perfect. And he is. Yeah, he would be perfect for our slot system, especially when you've got overlapping runs in terms of, Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, Frimpong, Kirkez, if we end up signing him as well. Like, that would be amazing, for that, and Liverpool could end up scoring more goals than what they've done this season, if that was to be the case, as well. And I think that it could 100% be an option for us. But yeah, I 100% agree with that comment. Is Nunes banned for the last 2 games? I read it earlier for the fight that happened a while back. No. Do you mean the fight when you, like, last summer when was it Brazil and Uruguay started fighting each other? Yeah, no. There's no ban. I don't think, anyway. But I'll have to double check on that. Do you like Lookman? I think he's a decent player, but not for Liverpool. I do think that we will get a Prem move this summer. Osimhen is an issue. His ego, another attacker at AFCON, not ideal. Yeah, exactly. I genuinely think he would be Lukaku 2.0 in the Premier League. Somebody who, on paper, you think is amazing, and you think, he's the guy to build the attack on and should be the guy to push you forward. No, I just don't see it. For me, anyway, I don't personally see it. And I never have with Osimhen. Like, in that Napoli team as well, the the number one guy for me was Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia was so good for Napoli in the season where they won the Scudetto, and they ended up going on, and obviously, they were the best attacking team in Europe that season as well. And yeah, even when, in January when we were getting linked to him, I really desperately wanted Liverpool to sign Kvaratskhelia because he is so good. We've seen that in the Champions League. Like, he was so good as well. But look, unfortunately, Liverpool didn't do anything with it anyway. But we haven't really spoken about Jeremie Frimpong and getting it done. Of course, we spoke about it earlier, about, of course, obviously being a done deal. Of course, we now know that Liverpool have triggered, or going to trigger the release clause of £30 million by Leverkusen. Of course, I think he makes a lot of sense, And again, we're going to do a video. It's most likely going to be out tomorrow or Saturday morning for you guys. Of course, there's going to be a bit of a special episode at looking at why he's perfect for Liverpool. I think for the way we want to play next season, I think definitely it's going to be an interesting one. I do think we're most likely going to see us playing very intense football next season, and he's going to be at the heart of it as well. Because how many years have we said, like, oh, if we had a Kyle Walker in our team, like Liverpool's style of play, like we could do something, really good in many ways. Again, he would be that. I think his pace alone will help us quite a lot next season, in both transition and in terms of build up as well. I also think, Frimpong will be an absolute steal, as Marcus said, but they perfectly worth 30 million, absolutely worth 30 million pounds. Because again, in today's market, you wouldn't be able to get anybody of his quality for that price, really. And I think Liverpool, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, does deserve massive credit for the job they have done in terms of, again, identifying straight away obviously the long-term replacement for him. And of course, again, now he is going to push on other players. He's going to push on the rest of the Liverpool boys. And of course, now he's going to, now be potentially Liverpool's new right back. Obviously, in terms of does he start straight away? I think that's a question mark at the moment, because again, he has to learn the intensity of the Premier League. Of course, he's been around that system, really. Of course, the Man City academy, of course, playing in Celtic, playing for Celtic as well. But of course, obviously playing in the Champions League for Bayer Leverkusen, it's going to be a different role for him. Of course, he is going to be a bit deeper, but still, he's going to be playing very attacking football as well. So it will be interesting to see anyway. But Lee says Frimpong knows the language, the country, homegrown, quota, pace, and covers both Bradley and Salah. Yeah, perfect signing, really. And also, again, we're going to do it in the deep dive tomorrow. But the way we were playing against Arsenal, the way Conor Bradley was playing, was exactly like how Jeremie Frimpong, exactly how Liverpool are going to play next season. Very intense, pushing up the right back. Again, it's going to be exciting. It really is. Polo says FSG never push on. Seriously, they just got to push. They will. We'll have a look at the end of the summer. Look, if FSG don't, if the club don't sign the correct players and don't, push on and look to retain the Premier League, then again criticize them. But look, they've done wonders in terms of, again, it's getting a Trent replacement in, of the quality of Frimpong, re-signing Mo Salah, re-signing Virgil van Dijk. They deserve credit. Massively deserve credit for it. Bit of Scouser as well saying, is Frimpong our fastest player? Yeah, no, I'd say so. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to test him with Mo, really. But maybe Frimpong not the best defensively, but he's only 24, and that's where Arne Slot and his coaching staff, come in. Absolutely. And look, they've made so far, apart from Darwin Núñez, I would say he has made every player better since being at Liverpool. I don't think anybody else has been on the decline, really. But yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Anyway, but look, hopefully we will have the Here We Go tomorrow from the likes of Fabrizio Romano, obviously David Ornstein as well for it. And yeah, hopefully we will get that at some point tomorrow afternoon anyway. But look, I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. Very much appreciated, as always, for all the support on the channel. Of course, if you guys didn't check out earlier, of course, go and check this video out. Obviously, we did speak about the breaking news, of course, when it did happen of Frimpong, Liverpool looking to, of course, execute the release clause and so on as well. And yeah, of course, we've spoken about Frimpong, we've spoken about Wirtz, we've spoken about Wharton, we spoke about Nkunku as well. Again, I don't think Nkunku's joining Liverpool at all. I do think he'll end up going back to the Bundesliga. Whether that's at Bayern Munich, we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, but look, anything we've mentioned in tonight's episode, do let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. I will reply back to each and every single one of you. And if you are new around here, of course, please do hit that subscribe button as well. Of course, we do transfer videos, obviously match preview, which, by the way, the match preview for Brighton might be tomorrow, it might be Saturday, depending on news, of course. Anyway, which, you know, one thing I will say, the Arne Slot press conference as well is a bit later tomorrow as well, so we'll be clipping that as well, of course, and again, your guys' thoughts on that, of course. Anyway, but look, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day anyway, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode anyway. But until next time, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys later on. Ta-ra.